Welcome to this explainer. Today we're distilling the absolute core principles of epic content marketing into a highly practical roadmap specifically designed for business owners and marketers. Look, if you're feeling totally burned out from pouring money into traditional advertising only to see your returns just keep shrinking, you are absolutely in the right place. We are going to fundamentally rethink how we actually attract and, more importantly, retain customers in a world that's frankly drowning in information.
So let's just dive right into this by asking a pretty provocative question about your core business model. Are you paying for fleeting attention, or are you actually building your own media empire? Think about it. For decades, businesses have basically just rented space on someone else's platform, right? You buy a magazine ad, a TV commercial, maybe a banner ad. But here's the game changer. The barriers to entry for publishing are completely gone now. You have the exact same opportunity to build an audience as any traditional publisher does. The massive shift we're talking about today is moving away from just renting that audience to completely owning it.
To guide us through this entire paradigm shift, we'll be following a super clear 5-step roadmap. First up, the media company mindset. Number 2, stop selling, start helping. Third, creating passionate brand subscribers. Fourth, defining your content niche. And finally, number 5, your content creation roadmap.
Okay, let's kick things off with part 1, the media company mindset.
Now, the difference between traditional marketing and content marketing is honestly profound. Traditional marketing is basically like stepping up to a microphone and just telling everyone in the room that you're a rock star. Content marketing, that's picking up the guitar, actually playing the music, and proving it. It's all about delivering the exact information your audience is already actively searching for, rather than just interrupting their day with sales pitches they're desperately trying to ignore.
And the data backs this up completely. This isn't just some passing marketing fad. It's a dominant, massive industry movement. Search interest and adoption of content marketing have literally skyrocketed over the last 10 years. Brands are finally waking up to the reality that to succeed, they have to become the media themselves. Really, the only difference between a traditional publisher and you is how the revenue comes in. They sell ad space, you sell products or services. But the content you produce, it needs to be of the exact same high caliber.
Which brings us right into part 2, stop selling, start helping. Okay, here's a bit of a reality check for us all. While over 90% of businesses say they're using content marketing today, the average consumer is getting bombarded by something like 5,000 different marketing messages every single day. Let that sink in. So simply producing more content is not going to cut through that noise. Your content absolutely has to be intensely, undeniably helpful. If you're just pushing out promotional fluff disguised as an article, you're just adding to the static. Paradoxically, to market better today, you actually have to sell less.
So to break through all that clutter, you have to pivot entirely away from the classic product pitch. As Kirk Shafitz so perfectly puts it, you really only have 2 choices to capture someone's attention. You either inform your customers so they can live a better life, or you entertain them to build a real emotional connection. Because frankly, your customers do not care about your products. I know that hurts to hear, but they don't. They care about themselves, their own wants, and their own needs. You serve them best by telling genuinely engaging stories.
Let's move to part 3, creating passionate brand subscribers.
This idea requires a really powerful reframing of what your marketing goals actually are. A traditional sales funnel focuses entirely on pushing a prospect toward a single, immediate transaction. But epic content marketing, that's about building a passionate, dedicated subscriber base. Think about it. When someone happily hands over their email address and says, "Yes, please send me more of this," they are literally granting you permission to build a relationship with them. And all the data confirms this. Subscribers close faster, they stick around way longer, and they ultimately spend more money. Let's put our CFO hats on for a second and think about this from a strictly financial perspective. Content is a renewable business asset, not just a sunk marketing expense. When you run a traditional ad, the absolute second that budget dries up, the leads stop, period. It's over. But an epic blog post, a deeply researched white paper, or a really helpful how-to video, that piece of content continues to draw traffic, build trust, and capture new subscribers for months, sometimes even years, after you hit publish. It belongs on your balance sheet as a permanent working asset.
And if we look at the real-world giants, we see them applying this exact strategy to build deep emotional connections without doing any traditional selling. Take SAP, for example. They realized they were pushing way too much product-heavy content, so they completely pivoted to simply answering the exact search queries small businesses were already typing into Google. Or look at Coca-Cola. They focused their content entirely on the concept of spreading happiness, constantly filling that emotional well so they never have to compete purely on price. And Red Bull? They basically operate as a full-blown media company, focusing on aspirational sports storytelling instead of constantly pitching caffeine and sugar.
That leads us perfectly into part 4, defining your content niche.
To actually earn people's attention, you have to claim a specific niche where you can realistically become the absolute leading informational provider for your specific buyers. Let's say you run a local pet store. Your niche is not pet supplies. That is way too broad, and the big box stores already own that space entirely. But could you become the absolute leading expert on, say, holistic nutrition for senior rescue dogs in your specific city? Absolutely you could. You have to find a niche narrow enough to actually dominate and then deliver so much incredible value that you become the undeniable, trusted expert in that space.
You know, every successful media company in the world operates with an editorial mission. And you need one too. You should outline these 3 steps super clearly before you create even a single piece of content. First, who exactly is your core target audience? Second, what specific type of information are you going to deliver to them? And third, the most important part, the takeaway. How is this content actually going to improve their lives or their businesses? Seriously, write this statement down and tape it to your wall. If a content idea doesn't fit this mission, do not publish it.
Finally, let's jump into part 5, your content creation roadmap.
So, let's get operational. An editorial calendar is the utterly critical tool that maps your big picture long-term strategy to concrete, everyday dates and deliverables. Most marketers are incredibly campaign-driven, right? They're always sprinting from one big launch to the next. But content marketing, that's a marathon. You simply cannot run a media company without tracking dates and topics. A calendar forces you to assign authors, set hard deadlines, and maintain a consistent publishing rhythm week in and week out.
And a truly great calendar goes way beyond just a simple list of blog posts. It maps out the entire ecosystem of your content formats. It helps you visualize your strategy, ensuring that a major quarterly asset like a massive comprehensive ebook is properly supported by weekly blog posts, daily social media updates, and targeted email newsletters. It's all about creating a unified, multi-channel strategy that builds momentum over time.
To keep this whole engine running smoothly, just follow a basic step-by-step formula to track the what, who, where, and when of your entire publishing operation. You need to prioritize what to publish, assign the right creators and editors to it, pinpoint exactly which channels you're targeting, set your dates, and use metadata to track your goals. Whether you use a basic spreadsheet or some fancy advanced software, these 5 elements guarantee your content machine never falls victim to that dreaded, uh-oh, what are we going to post today? Panic.
And finally, to maintain true editorial discipline, you need specific team roles in place. And this applies even if you're starting super small or outsourcing. First, you need a chief content officer to ensure that content strategy is always perfectly aligned with the business goals. Second, a managing editor to handle the day-to-day scheduling, SEO, and quality control. And third, your content creators. Now, these are often your internal subject matter experts, not necessarily professional writers. They provide the raw, authentic industry insights that your editor can then go in and polish into absolute gold.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. Are you going to step up, own your media, and build a truly engaged audience? Or are you going to just keep renting space in the clutter, hoping someone notices you? The businesses that are going to thrive in the future won't just be the ones with the best products. They're absolutely going to be the ones that tell the best stories, provide the most helpful information, and build the deepest emotional connections. So stop selling, start helping, and go be epic.
Subscribe for more actionable executive summaries, and if you want deeper insights and exclusive content, support the channel on Patreon. You'll find the link in the description.